In fact, they all have. They're infested with parasites. It's a terrible business. I wouldn't risk it. I really wouldn't.
We're riddled.
Yes, I'm riddled. Yes, we are, badly.
What would you have us do then? Let them all go?
Well...
Hey, welcome back to Sambo's Place. Thanks for checking in. We got a cool summer day here today, but that's not going to last long. We're going to turn up the heat because we are going to put that new Weber Rotisserie to work today, and we're going to get a bird done. Let's go get started. Always looking to learn something about something. So as I started to look into researching rotisserie, I found that it has an interesting history. And basically, it dates way back to ancient civilizations spanning across different cultures and continents. There were a lot of benefits to cooking food over fire. And over time, this method evolved into the use of spits and rotisseries, and it basically gave a much better control over the cooking environment. Now, the first rotisseries were the ancient Greeks and the Romans, and they used to use them as a method for cooking large game animals. And they would do these for large gatherings as well. These rotisseries were often seen as a symbol of wealth and status. And the most affluent households could only afford to have one. During the medieval era and the emergence of European rotisserie, it became widespread throughout Europe. And they were often used to cut smaller pieces of meat, such as chicken, beef, and lamb. Now, the arrival of the rotisserie in the Americas was basically due to the Spanish influence. They brought it over in the 15th century, and it became a tradition of cooking. This spread out throughout the region, and the indigenous peoples of America adopted this cooking method. Okay, so we got the SearWood up to temp. Let's see how easy this is going to be to get this spit located with the chicken on it for the first time. Well, that wasn't so bad now, was it? Okay, we've been twisting here for about an hour. Oh, we're rolling smoke too. That bird's coming along looking good. We are about an hour and a half in here, and that's looking good. Starting to get some color. Getting close to finish temp here. I had to bump it up to 295 to get her close to the internal temperature we needed, but boy, is that looking good. I can't wait to taste it. Okay, so we got it off the grill. I had a little problem getting the spit out of the motor, but I did work it free. Just like everything else I've said, it's muscle memory. You know, it's all about, you know, getting the technique down, doing it a repetition of a few times. We're gonna wrap this up here, and we're gonna put this in the foil for a little bit, and we're gonna let this rest. I'm gonna take this spit out, but for the first time ever, using a rotisserie, and the first time ever, I need a pair of those thin heat gloves that I see the guys wearing. It wasn't a bad experience, and as I said, it's muscle memory. The more you do it, the more it's like putting that swing set together for the first time. You're not sure what you're doing, but after you put it together the first time, everything is golden. We're gonna get this wrapped up, and we're gonna let it sit a little bit. My wife is on her way home from work, and hopefully this will be nice and warm and juicy and ready to go when she gets home so she can have a nice home-cooked meal. Okay, let's put some closure to this rotisserie deal. Now keep in mind, this was the first time I ever did anything with a rotisserie. Never owned one in my life. Saw lots of them, figured, why not? A wise man once told me that once you put the swing set together, you'll be much better off doing it the second time. And that's where my muscle memory concept comes in. The more you use something, the more you do something, the better you are with it. You learn from your experiences. Hindsight is always 20/20. You know what to do a little bit more efficiently the next time. And that goes along with this rotisserie, which is a pretty simple object to use. It's well built from Weber. You can't even hear it run. It effectively handled a 5.5-pound chicken. I don't see why it wouldn't handle 2 5.5-pound chickens. It did a great job. The chicken turned out fantastic. My wife said it was the most tender rotisserie chicken that she's ever had. So in the end, I think it was a plus. Now, what could I have done differently? To me, I didn't feel that the chicken had enough flavor. Oh, there was a lot of smoke flavor, believe me. And my wife was saying, hey, this meat isn't cooked. I'm like, no, honey, look, that's the smoke ring, okay? And that's why the meat is pink, because you have a smoke ring. So effectively, the SearWood did exactly what it's supposed to do. It produced a great smoky chicken. But flavor-wise, 2 things I do differently the next time. First of all, the recipe that I tried out called for unsalted butter as an injection. I think the next time I'm going to use salted butter as an injection and get some salt seasoning down into that meat fiber. Second thing I think is, after I put the rub on the chicken, I think this time I'm going to wrap it and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator before I put it on the spit. This time I just rubbed it, I let it sit for a little while, and then I put it on the spit. I think overnight in the refrigerator will definitely infuse more of that rub flavor deep into the chicken itself. So, having said all that, I found that this first time was a learning experience. I think anybody can do it. It's a great addition to the SearWood. If you own a SearWood and are considering a rotisserie, don't think twice about it. Pick one up. The only cons that I could tell you that I found from it is you lose your side shelf because the motor's there, and you can't fill your hopper in the middle of your cook because the other handle is sticking out and won't allow the hopper lid to open. So make sure that your hopper is filled with pellets before you go ahead and do your rotisserie. But having said all that, it's a win-win. I'm really enjoying this SearWood. Sambo out.